What are you doing? Head empty. Not thought behind those eyes character is like, yeah, let's do this date. And we'll wear cute date matching outfits because that's what friends do. Mahalo and welcome back to You and Idol Precure episode 15. And boy, do we have a chaotic episode. We have an episode of all time here. Immediately, we start off with Meroron, who has entangled Purirun with her hair as she sleeps, so that she may not ought escape the pillow that they're sitting on. Which, first of all, I'm gonna level with you, Meroron. Like, at least get, like, a little bed. Like, get a dog bed at worst. At best, get, like, a doll bed and sleep in it instead of just a singular cushion. Like, what are you, my cat? And speaking of my cat, this whole moment was, like, very much when you, like, Purirun is me when my cat chooses a very specific location to sleep on, and then all of the feeling and debatably blood pressure stops going to that one limb, and that's the face I make when I can't lift my arm the next morning. This is actually quite relatable. To which, for some reason, Uta's like, I'm awake. And I'd like, to make this scene seem reasonable, we're gonna pretend that it's 6 a.m. There might have been a clock in the scene, but it's 6 a.m. in my heart. And she's like, Purirun, you're struggling. Where we have this hilarious moment of Meroron being like, this is part of my plan. So she does not escape. And that she doesn't go to you. This is so funny. Like, I can't tell if my feelings towards this whole jealous bit with Meroron are, like, me maturing as an individual and, like, enjoying this comedy now. Because all I can think about is, like, back at Yes 5, when Milk was an absolute brat to Nozomi during season 1 specifically, because she was constantly jealous. Like, it was so annoying then, and I can't tell if it's because it was a love triangle and, like, the series was pushing Nozomi and Coco, and Meroron was there to be the third wheel, but here, obviously, Meroron is supposed to be with Purirun, and Uta's not even part of that equation. Nor does she really want to be. And so, like, the jealousy is, like, well, we know that Meroron's gonna end up happy in the end, whereas for, like, Milk, you know she's not gonna end up with Coco, so her being a brat is not helping anybody. I don't know. I find this enjoyable. I did not find that enjoyable in my youth. Can't tell if it's maturity, or it's just this writing is better. Couldn't tell you. But I do, like, feel for Meroron, because, like, comparatively to everything that was going on in Yes 5, there was a lot of unspoken romance happening all over the place. Meroron is the most on-point baby on this planet. I have never seen someone work so hard to be blunt about her feelings, where she's like, yeah, I'm in love with Purirun, and I'm about to tell you my whole backstory, sad backstory TM, and then the two of them fall asleep. Which, again, I'm gonna pretend it's 6 a.m. Like, you know, you can profess your love to me, but it's also 6 a.m. and I will be going back to bed. These days, I'd be waking up at 8:30. I will not be getting up before then. Don't try to tell me anything sentimental between the hours of 1 a.m. and 8:30. Nonetheless, everybody else has a brain and is able to perceive that Meroron has feelings for Purirun. And it's wild watching consistently all of them be like, so what's up with you and Purirun? What's with this romantic fling that's going on? And she's like, I won't tell you. Peasants. And then you have Purirun insert herself being like, yeah, I want to know too. With not a thought behind those words. And she's like, all right, here we go. Here we go. Here are my theatrics. I will tell you everything. I will bring it all on. I will give you my dramatic tale. Every time. Very funny. And then we, of course, have, like, the spattering of poor Uta in these scenes. I do want to say this because this is, like, a random thing in the anime fandom that I never understood why it's, like, the most contentious thing people talk about. But, like, there's, like, a very weird sensitivity with anime fans that, like, whenever a character, like, gets hit or slapped or anything, they're like, this is the worst gimmick ever. Like, somebody hitting somebody else because they had, like, an emotional thing, but the whole situation's a gag, like no one's taking it literally. Like, Uta's not spending the rest of this episode with, like, bandages across her face here. People, like, have such a weird sensitivity to, like, the, like, overly emotional character, like, doing some kind of, like, dramatic physical reaction as a bit, like this. This stuff never bothered me. I've never understood why people act like this is the worst sin that anime ever does. Like, this stuff is just kind of funny, and then you walk off because the character acts like it didn't happen the next second. We can all just pretend it's, like, Kimetsu no Yaiba, where they're like, oh, you know all those breathing techniques and you see all the magic and the elements? That's all in their head. That's not real. Can we just do that with this? Can we stop being bothered by this? That's my weird hot take for the episode. Back to this episode. We have Meroron being completely inspired to have her little poem moment, and she has this poem obsession, which we knew from the previews, but it ended up being far more blunt about what that meant. Where at first I thought she had some like significant poem she read in her youth that she got very attached to, and there's like some backstory between the author for it. No, she's the author. She just has this poem that she recites that's very, in my eyes, I feel like this is a Chuny bit. I feel like she's the type of character who just like creates a very dramatic introverted tale for herself, which slowly, like, that's like full stop, a little bit relatable. Kind of mild, like, not like other girls vibes, but in that category of like, I can't be with everybody else. I'm different. She gives off that youthful vibe of the kid who's gonna sit in the corner and read, but completely of their own volition, and they're just like introverted and just don't like being social. Like, she gives off those vibes. I'm not quite sure where she actually lands, but that's the vibe she gives. And she just makes up this little poem that's just like giving off some like, the woods are dark and deep, baby. And then after, like, realizing that everything she's doing is not doing much in the grounds of, like, convincing Puridun, short of, like, literally just saying, Puridun, I'm in love with you, and Puridun's like, yeah, love is cool, man. she just goes on this pillow and just, like, remains there for the rest of this scene. It's so funny. Like, girl, I feel you. If I put that much blunt effort into something and it still wasn't getting through the noggin, I would also be beside myself. But we move into the more useful part of this, where we get this backstory about her, trying to, like, get some information, because, again, remember, we got, like, Tanaka, who has no clue who Meroron is. The only person who seems to know that Meroron exists is Picorine and Puridun. And Picorine clarifies this, which I guess is important to some degree, where she's like, oh, I didn't get Meroron out of the magical world that they're in Kiriki Land. She's not the one who did it. Even though, like, to get Puridun there, she had to, like, stock up with the last of her energy and use it to get Puridun out. Meroron just loved Puridun so much that her pure love straight up willed her out of this place and to follow Puridun, which is the power of love be very strong in Magical Girl series. That's all I'm gonna say. But again, here's, like, her being like, I'm not like other girls. I am the darkness, while you are the light. Like, she's so dramatic about it. And I don't know, like, Picorine states in so little words that Meroron is special. And I'm like, special is a word that be doing a lot of different things. That's not giving us, like, is she secretly some kind of, like, the secret yang that the villains are trying to track down and use to take over the universe because she possesses the evil energy that we need? Or is she just an overly imaginative person who's like, I'm just too much of the darkness, and I can't be with you, Puridun, because I am the shadow. Like, what are we doing? What's going on here? How serious am I supposed to take this? Because it feels like it's one of those things where she's just being her little silly self, and she's just got to learn to get to know other people, as a child does. It's fair enough. And speaking of special children, we have who even, it's so unhinged that you literally have Nana Uta and Kokoro sit there being like, yeah, Purirun is super dumb, and she'll never figure out that Meroron is in love with her. And they say that with Purirun unblinking, staring at them. Like, full stop. There is not a single ounce of lack of communication going on here. Like, they could not spell it out any more clear than Meroron is in love with you, and Purirun is like, yeah, love is so cool, man. Literally, I've never seen a final boss of love bigger than Purirun. I've never seen a final boss as big. I don't also know if this is playing off the fact that, like, in Japanese, like, words like love and like and all that are so much more ambiguous than they are in English. Like, they do that thing where you can, like, say, I love this thing, but it's like you just like it, and it's just you're being kind of, like, facetious to a degree. I don't know if it's playing off that, or it's just Purirun is Purirun. Nonetheless, they're like, yeah, we'll solve this with a date. And to Purirun, that's a play date. Purirun, head empty, not thought behind those eyes character is like, yeah, let's do this date. And we'll wear cute date matching outfits because that's what friends do. That's what gal pals do. This episode is something. And we have this, like, I love that this is like a meme here. There's several memes that get thrown into this episode, but this is absolutely one of those memes where, like, they're at first getting really into wearing the outfits, but then, like, once Meroron realizes that the girls are super excited about it, she's like, no. It's like that one, I'm trying to remember what it is. It's like the Drake template where he's like, no. She's like, no, I can't be getting into these cute little idol outfits. I can't give you people what you want. It's crazy. But it does, like, we see the small nods, which it's very interesting with Meroron's development thus far, because we have a whole episode dedicated to cheering on people, but Meroron is still very hesitant about cheering on the girls, which is interesting that, like, we've kind of, like, walked one step forward and one step back with her development in that department, but here she's getting that small baby step of development where she's like, well, I guess if you guys are helping me out with my date, I suppose you can help me with my hair. Like, she's getting to the point where she's interacting with the girls bit by bit, and I assume it's going to be very similar to how we had very incremental progress with Yuki last season that really paid off. I assume that's what we're also going to have with Meroron, where she's going to get closer to the group bit by bit. But I also would really love to see episodes with just Meroron and each of the girls. Like, I'd love to have a Meroron Nana episode and a Meroron Kokoro episode, because I feel like we've gotten plenty of Meroron and Uta, which just keeps, like, having the bit of, like, the jealousy cycle. Which is fine, but it's like, you know, if I see it for the 800th time, it's not going to be as funny. We can mix it up and have her interact with other people. Like, I'd love to also, like, Tanaka. She, like, never hangs out with Tanaka. Like, y'all are both fairies. You might as well, like, have a day where you just hang and do something or have a conversation. Like, you guys have, technically speaking, I don't think they've still, at this point, even talked to one another. Might as well. I like when the seasons mix them up a little bit, but I feel like we're also speed running the additional Cure plotline, so we may have to wait until certain characters get human forms before we see more dynamic building. But nonetheless, we do get this cute moment, and she gets a cute little hairstyle for the date, and it's sweet. And then I like how much Nana ends up getting utilized for this episode, because again, I feel like Nana's one of the characters who they gotta add more to her to make sure that she doesn't kind of get sidelined, because everybody else in the series has very loud and rambunctious personalities, and she's, again, the quieter character. I like that they really utilize her in this episode to be more present, because especially since we've been having Kokoro be very well inserted into episodes that are not focused on her. I think they do a good job of having Nana, first of all, like, really relating to Meroron with the poem bit, especially since she's the, like, supposedly the smartest girl of the group, that her being more well-read makes sense that she cares about the poem, and she remembers the whole poem after hearing it once from Meroron, which is a skill I envy greatly. And then next thing, she's the one who suggests the date idea and brings up this whole lock thing, which I assume this is based on that one bridge in France, where the whole bit of it is that, like, you and your partner have a lock, and you lock your lock on the bridge, like on the railing of the bridge, and then you throw the key into, I think it's the Seine. And it's like, oh, well, our love will be forever bound, just like this lock. And, you know, since the lock is now at the bottom of the Seine, it will never break. Which is also the reason why it got banned. I think the one specific bridge in France, you will probably get fined or chased if you try to do that. A, because they don't want you throwing keys that are just going to rust into the water. And also because the weight of the locks actually increases the weight of the bridge. Like, they literally have to cut locks every so often because they're worried that the weight of the locks will make the bridge fall down. Which is unhinged, but fun. Little lore there for you. But in other lore news, we move to Cuddy, who I haven't spent too much time focusing on the villains in my reviews, but they've been pretty adorable in the last few episodes of, like, how much they actually for reals are fans of the girls as idols. All this culminating into what we can imagine is going to be Cuddy's final arc. I feel like we're reaching the end of the line here. They're setting it up very similarly to the format they had in, like, Hidogoru Sky for, like, introducing a villain go away, and then we move to the next few. But it's very cute to see him practice his wotage while he has got his, like, super tiny iPhone. And he got the really BB light stick that does not, like, it's literally the size of his hand. And he ultimately gets caught by Zakuri, who, like, calls him out being like, bro, we are on the evil team. You're not supposed to sit there and have, like, your Oshi going on here. Meanwhile, we have our date where it's like, I gotta give it to Meroron. She's doing everything dately. Like, I think Puridun just does not perceive the concept of love. Like, romantic love. I don't even think Puridun knows what that is. But the date is really cute, for the most part. But we do see Meroron's unhinged jealousy, where, like, she's like, I'll make you any food you want, Puridun. And Puridun's like, cool, I love the little octo sausages. And she's like, not the octo sausages stealing my love. So unhinged, queen. But at least she's, like, calmly jealous in this moment. You know, she's got layers. But she also, like, kind of reaffirms why she's in love with Puridun, because we've got to tell Puridun at least 5,000 more times before it makes, like, an iota of a difference. And we get to see a little bit more of what happened at the collapse. Like, she was running through all of the freezing shadow realming of everybody else in Kiriki Land. But she manages to make it back to her little, like, library cave and is worried that she'll be the next victim before Puridun's like, no girl, we gonna make it out alive. As well as, like, Puridun reaffirming that, like, somebody does care about you. Like, people out here are worried and do love you, even if you're a little silly Billy introvert. It's very sweet. Very cute. I get you. I understand why you're in love. They also explain the whole bit of where the Netama, like, came from, where it wasn't even that, like, Meroron came up with it. Puridun's like, I'll be your big sis, you know, as somebody who's there for you, which sucks to get sucks to get sibling zoned. That's, like, the worst thing you can get. I'm so sorry, Meroron, you have no chance, girl. But she explains, like, this whole, you know, Puridun caring so passionately about her in such her time of need. She's like, that's the moment that I got Zakun, where I fell in love, where Bon Jovi started playing his music. I also like that the entire time that this is all going down, they keep cutting back to these, like, unbloomed sakura petals, which I feel like it says so much, like, in terms of, like, the meaning of it. Like, this love hasn't quite blossomed, but there's, like, moments where, like, the breeze moves the buds and you're like, are they gonna bloom? Is it finally gonna get fulfilled? But it's still, like, the love is not quite there yet. I like that artistic touch that they have. It's like, the past few seasons, they've been doing such a good job of having, like, visual elements, especially flowers, really tell a story in the scenes, and this is one of those moments. And then we get to our victims of the week, who come to this little lock festival, and they're being way too romantic. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If I sat there and I was an evil villain and I saw these two being so extra and doing all of this, I'd be like, no, y'all are gonna be the monster of the week. Congratulations. Congratulations, you've won. Like, me too, Cuddy. Like, they're, like, shimmying and, like, they're making lots of noise. It's too much. I thought in Japan we were against the whole PDA thing. You know what deserved. And so our fight begins. And one of the, like, again, speaking on the fact that, like, Meroron is not really quite getting into the whole, like, cheering thing. She gets it, but also she doesn't get it. She still, like, also has that hesitation where she can't quite pick whether the other cures are her love rivals or her allies. Like, she's still trying to, like, sort out how she feels about that. I do love that in this scene while, like, Puridun's like, come on, Meroron, come on, this is what we do. I love that Cuddy is like, y'all are fake fans. He's like, if it were me, I would be cheering like nobody's business. I would cheer the idols on better than you. Like, whoever wrote this, masterful writing, by the way. And he's like, yeah, you guys are fake. And it just traps them. It's so funny. It speaks to me on a deep level. It's just absolutely hilarious. Like, this is what I mean when I want to see more involved fights. Like, for the most part, the action and everything is good. Like, Miss Wink's shield works like nobody's business. It blocked, like, 3 or 4 attacks. Like, this is a season where we're getting stuff done. Our careers are low-key pretty powerful, and I respect to that. But I love the comedy in this fight. Like, we need to have, you know, I love a good, like, serious fight where things get hardcore, but I also love a well-written comedic fight. Where you have Idol being like, I need the key. And he's like, oh my god, my Oshi, Cure Idol, is asking for me? And he just hands over the key. And she's like, thanks! It's so cute. I love it. And it blows him away. As the comedy is blowing me away. This whole episode was a delight. Absolute delight to watch. And then we get here where Meroron's like, yeah, it feels like things are not moving forward. How will I reach Purirun with my feelings. And then I think the first time we've actually been able to make a dent in Purirun was we get a kiss. And I've got to say this because I've been holding it in the whole episode. You mean to tell me the first time we see on-screen canonical, not remotely mincing words, not implying anything, sapphic relationship in the series, it's with two fairies? I'm like, listen, Buster Brown, I understand that Japan and their, like, feelings towards gay marriage is, like, Facebook status complex. It's a complicated relationship. I get that. But, like, we've had improvements over the year. I mean, like, we had Kira with that relationship that was everything short of canonical. That was based on a canonical sapphic love. And then, of course, if you read the manga, the Kamikita twins manga, there is heavy, like the most canonical-ish. We've had the most heavily implied stuff occur for both Hikaru and Lala from Star Twinkle and Mirai and Riko from Mahoutsukai, where they have their kiss not kiss in that series, which, sorry if that's a spoiler. I probably should just put a little spoiler tag on this section of the video. But yeah, I'm just, you know what, I'm gonna continue my spoiler tame. Why in Mirai Days could they not be wives canonically? Why could they not be married? Why couldn't we even get a little smooch? Like, I don't understand. I'm just a little mad about that, okay? a little tiny bit mad about that. Where, like, this is our first kiss? That's like, all bets are off. This is definitely romantic. We're not mincing any words. The way that Meroron feels about Purirun is romantic. It is not a galpalism. And it's gonna be between two fairies. Like, maybe they're getting away with it because it's two fairies and they're like, they're not humans though. Like, fairies' gender already is like pretty ambiguous. So it's like, love is love, you know what I mean? Is that how they're getting away with it? Like, if these two get human forms, their gender is going to be pretty confirmed. But, like, I'm happy for them. I said mildly angrily. Good for them! I mean, I hope this ship sails. Good, like, you know what, go, why not, queen? Live your best life. I said angrily. I said frustratedly. Good for you. Good for you. Oh, what an episode. And then, like, the prophet Apollo himself. If you guys do not watch Magical Cinnamon Leo's Saturday streams, you should. But for those who were there, I tried to get a screenshot, but he turned off chat replay, so I can't find my comment. But I was like, I bet you anything that our girl Nana is going to be like our girl Mayu from last season, and it's going to be the big shipper. And I think she is the big shipper. Look at this girl. She's like, ooh, like the other ones are like, ah, but she's like, oh, she is a Mayu-coded queen. She is going to ship these two harder than everybody else. And I predicted that. I predicted that like a solid, I guess like a singular hour before the episode aired. But I predicted that like Apollo. I am the prophet. My theories have totally never been wrong, and I'm always right, as everybody knows. And lastly, we see that Meroron has this key and lock, which I'm sure won't be important, I'm sure won't be magical, I'm sure it won't have really important properties towards the series. We also see the way, specifically, that Purirun, like, escapes at night and goes back to Uta. Like, she literally looks like a roly-poly magnet that's just rolling across the furniture in the house. It's unhinged. It's like, I thought she'd just float. No, it's wild. I'll put it that way. And reasonably so, Meroron crashes out. Like, girl, you picked the final boss of romance. That's on you. But thank you for joining me for a heavenly chaotic episode. I'll see you guys next time with whatever's going on with the next episode, because the previews for it were also unhinged. But until next time, bye-bye!